Hey, what's up, everyone? This is day 2 of me trying out this new software, so bear with me. Hopefully, everyone can hear me pretty well. David Staub with Maegical. Just wanted to jump on and say a few words. Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening and has had a pretty good day out there. A few more people. I believe one of my Magical Inner Circle members is going to be jumping on with me, Mr. Mike Connor. I believe we're going to see. But I just wanted to jump on for a second. Things are crazy, and no matter how chaotic it seems on the outside, I know from people I've already spoken to today, there's a good amount of people that are kind of alone today, whether it's being ostracized from the family or whatever. And I want everyone to know you're never really alone. You're not. Stepping into the world of spirituality and evolving. One of the things that I've learned is we do have a divine team that's always looking out for us. So I just wanted to say a few words on just knowing you're never alone. You always have someone watching over you. I've found that we all have this divine team that's looking out for us, watching over us, and trying to help guide us to our highest good. And I do want everyone out there to know, if you feel like you don't have a tribe, if you feel like if you do feel alone, just please know Magical will always be there with open arms, will always be there with non-judgmental, loving, open arms. Don't care what your past was like. Don't care what you've done. We'll always, there we go. See. Hey, Merry Christmas, Liza. It's not showing me everyone's names that is commenting, so I apologize ahead of time. But Merry Christmas to you too. To anyone that is celebrating that, I'm just responding. I just wanted to jump on and say, you're never alone. And, there's multiple reasons why Megan and I created Magical, but one of the foundational ones is just to create a community, create a tribe that, we're so conditioned heavily into this world of judgment and negative fear-based conditioning out there. And you'll never find judgment in Magical. We have most of you that have been following us know we have a Facebook group, a Magical Facebook group that's totally free and open. And it's a wonderful community of loving people that are there for each other. But I want you all to know that, you're not alone. You have a divine team. What I've found too, though, which was a pretty cool thing to learn, at least in my experience, is your divine team. You got to kind of ask or call upon it, right? Like if your back's against the wall and you're trying to figure something out and you're going through a really tough time, call out and ask for help. Actually do it. I know it might sound crazy, but it works. There's been multiple times where I've asked my angels, my divine team, for guidance about a specific situation. I know most of you know I'm a big advocate of plant medicine and psychedelics, and I go to the mushrooms sometimes. I'll find a really good setting, block off a bunch of hours, and go within to get guidance. But the reason I say all that is there's always hope. I want everyone out there to know there's always hope. You never know what tomorrow brings. Let me see if I can see if Mike can jump on here real quick. I want to try and get him on this with me. And Mike, if you're listening, I sent you a little link. I'm going to see if I can get you on it. But there's always hope out there, and there's always a try. Like what I found consistently is, with all of the conditioning and all of the judgment, a lot of families are kind of pulled apart, and, there's nothing, no one knows each other's situation, and everything's always happening for everyone's highest good. But if you are in a situation where your family's kind of torn apart, it's important to try and focus on the people that are there for you, and everyone's trying to do the best they can with what they know, but really releasing that care of what people think. When you're doing the right thing, when you're on the right path, and when you're doing good for yourself, releasing the care of especially what family thinks or what anyone else thinks is really important. Let me see if I can get this working here and get Mike on here with me. Mike Connor is a wonderful member of our inner circle. Let me see if that will work. Try that, Mike. See if I can get you on here that way. I'm doing great, thanks. About to go have dinner with my mom over there. Megan and I both are. But I really wanted to pass that message along because, not bringing up the whole COVID thing, y'all know my views on that. But since then, the suicide rate has went up 30%. 30% since the start of COVID. And people don't talk about that. They don't talk about all the effects on mental illness. They don't talk about all the effects on depression, on anxiety, on substance abuse that's happening out there that is an effect of all this. Isolation, addiction itself. I'm passionate about addiction because, I experienced addiction for many years of my life. But at the root of addiction is loss of connection. Right. And when people are isolated, people need that human connection. It's important. So, and I think that's a big reason why the suicide rate has went up so high. But I really want to get across that message. Anyone that's out there that's feeling lonely, that's feeling low, that's not in the best place mentally, please know my DM is always open, 100%, always, always, always. And my tribe, Maegical, we have an incredible inner circle, but the Maegical community, if you go to Maegical Healing the World, it's a free open Facebook group that is there for support. And you'll find really loving, non-judgmental people there. That's foundationally, we built Maegical off that foundation. We will never judge you no matter what your beliefs are. We will love you unconditionally. And that's how that's how the world heals, is not judging and loving unconditionally. Let me see here. Thanks for sharing it, Sal. Appreciate that, brother. I'm still figuring this software out, and I'm trying to see if I can invite someone on, but it looks like that's might not happen, unfortunately. Still figuring this stuff out, but yeah, my DM's always open, and there's all these things you can do. I always talk about morning routine, making sure you're starting off. If you're trying to get yourself out of a rut, out of a mental rut, or if you're not in a really great place, get up and move. That's one of the things. Just move, whether it's a workout, whether it's a meditation, whether it's writing, something. I've found physical exercise has been a great outlet for just getting out of your rut too. If you're kind of stuck in that low place, always reach out for someone, overcome that fear of what people think, and feel free to reach out to someone. You do have all these options out there for you. So anyone that's feeling that way, just know there's hope. There's hope out there, and you never know what tomorrow brings. And I've found that people that have dealt with the most difficult things, whether it's trauma, whether it's addiction, whether it's just a really rough past, end up having these beautiful purposes in the end. Like, it all happened for a reason. What you're going through, what you've went through, ends up being essential for your growth. Overcoming that becomes essential for your growth. And then once you do that, you take those lessons, and that becomes essential for your purpose and how you end up turning it around to help the world and help other people. So there's a beautiful plan. There really, really is. Even when it doesn't seem like it, you don't always understand it. There's a beautiful plan in place. There's actually a really good song I want to share with you all. I'm going to put it in the comments. I'm a huge fan of Tom McDonald, and he released a really great song, two good songs actually. One of them he released today called Angels, and it's talking about, having faith and getting through the tough times. And he released another one 4 or 5 days ago called Best Rapper Alive, and it's him literally talking about that little thing in your head that tells you these negative things, right? The battle of the negative things. He's battling with his addiction. He's literally rapping against his addiction, so it's really cool. And he ends up overcoming it in the end. But I want to share that with you because I'm a huge Tom McDonald fan. But he really puts some truth out there, some good things to listen to. And there's a song I want to share with you too called Symphony by Switch. When you're going through a tough time, listen to this song. I'm going to put it in the comments here. It's called Symphony by Switch. So here's the link to it. There we go. So I'm putting it in the comments. That's a great song to listen to if you're going through a rough time. And that song just talks about how you may not. Oh, there's Mike. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Over here. Can you hear me?
Hey, there it is. Awesome. What's up, man?
Yeah, I just come sit in the bathroom because I wasn't expecting this. I'm like, all right, go to the bathroom. Talk in a minute.
I went to our inner circle and I was like, hey, if anyone's willing to go live in about 5 minutes.
I thought you were saying that you're going live if anyone wants to watch you live, but hey, I'm live. I'm here.
That's awesome. Now, thanks for coming on. And for those of you who don't know Mike Connor, he has just been, it's crazy. Since we started the Maegical group, there's like, we've resonated with a lot of people, but man, the level and the precision that you've been on the same exact wavelength as Megan and I is like crazy. Since the start, it seems like.
Right from the beginning, when I first, it wasn't even your group. I was reading your story on someone else's group, and you're like, I'm starting a group and I'm going to save the world. I'm like, that's an awesome idea. And it really resonated with me. And I'm blown away by what you've done in the last year. Would have never predicted that.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, we got that vision in that ayahuasca ceremony, and dude, it's I can't take no credit. It's like Megan has been the kind of mastermind behind it all, while I seem to be doing a lot of the content here. Does so much in the background, but it's just kind of took off in a divine way. Like these people got attracted to it, and it's so cool. Mike's also part of our inner circle. And man, I've loved having your insights on stuff, man. When did you start? When did you start like waking up, would you say?
Oh, well, 9/11 shook me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
9/11 fell. It was a couple years before, I was still in the Matrix, and then I remember Rosie O'Donnell getting fired off The View because she talked about 9/11, and I was like, wow. And then I looked into 9/11. I realized that she was telling the truth, and I realized why she was kicked off of The View for telling the truth, because obviously they're hiding it. Charlie Sheen, there's tons of them. They all get just kicked off, and so that was the beginning. I've been looking into a lot of stuff, and then I started mushrooms about 2 years ago. And that started me on a journey. And one night hours after mushrooms, I had a self-realization. And I felt the extreme power, Christ consciousness, and I didn't know what it was at the moment. People thought I was going crazy. I'm just like, I feel like I can do anything, I don't want to go to sleep and wake up feeling different. I want to feel like this all the time, but it went away, but I'll never forget, the knowledge and everything, and I believed it was real, and until I found Alan Watts did I actually realize that it wasn't crazy, that it happens to people. It's blasphemy. These are hang people for saying stuff like that, but so people just decided just to hide it, keep them to themselves. When they experience a self-realization, they don't want to go around telling people you sound absolutely nuts, But that's why it's so great being in the inner circles, because you can talk to them and it's real. It's real. It's got nothing to do with society. It's just away from society, and it's actually the inner circle is kind of our own little society, and we can talk about censorship and all that.
It really is, man. Oh, I love Alan Watts too. Alan Watts was a catalyst for my awakening, listening to him, man. And I'm sure you just heard what I was just talking about. It's really unfortunate since this COVID stuff, which is a whole nother topic. But since all this has kicked off, like the suicide rates went up like 30%, which is so unfortunate because no one's talking about the effect on mental illness out there. There's a lot of traffic. I was looking over the different content, the different pages we have. There's a lot of traffic out there that's on, and I was like, man, Megan and I have been ostracized a pretty good amount from certain members of our family, but we're grateful to have each other and have our tribe, have our community. But not everyone has that, so I wanted to jump on and say a few words, just letting them know Maegical is always open to them. But what would you, if someone is listening that's going through a really low, rough time? What are some words of advice that you'd have for them, Mike?
Well, first off, this shall too pass. That's a promise,
I love that.
I've been through those bad times, and I feel like this is how it's going to be forever. Why even live? But you get through time to time, and you keep positive thinking. The most important thing is keep positive thinking. Anything that happens, you get into a car accident, right? Think of something positive that came out of that. Oh, God finally get a new car. Just always thinking the positive. I think Gage Gorman put a post out today, something like that. Always take a positive out of every negative situation, and your life will become easier.
I love that. I love that because you're reprogramming it. You're reprogramming it to think that way. That's the reason. These are like hyper supercomputers, and you can reprogram it, and that's a huge point. I love what you said.
Because you don't want to worry, and you don't want to, because worrying is a useless tool. Worrying, makes you sick. So, and it's hard not to worry. We all worry, but do the best not to worry and just let things happen in the moment as they come. And keep positive. And I'm a big believer in, just thinking positive, and the universe will respond. They will respond to how you're feeling and what you want in life and what will make you free and what will make you better. And the tools, I believe, will land in your lap, whether it be money, whether it would be whatever it is to get you going, So we're all on the same path. Stay away from drugs. All that does is mask the problem. Alcohol masks the problem.
100%.
You drink it away, you're still going to deal with that problem. So it's a circle that keeps coming around until you finish it, and yeah,
man, that's a big one too. I know alcohol is used, and this isn't a judgment thing. Some people, it works great. For me personally, it was such anytime I would drink back when I had those issues, and a lot of my friends ended up having to stop drinking too. It's people are kind of waking up to what it tends to do. But if you have any kind, first of all, there's a whole thing where it seems to attract entities, lower entities. But if you have any kind of like self-work that you haven't done yet, or you got some like insecurities or something, that will come right to the surface real quick with that stuff.
Yeah. And that's why I keep blood prone to drink and drink and drink again, because that stuff pops up. But you're just going to have to. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Black Snake Moan, where this guy finds a girl who's just about dead from drugs, and he just chains her to the radiator for like 3 weeks, and she hates it. She's feeling like she's kidnapped, and about 3 weeks later, she's loving again. She's feeling back to herself, and she comes out and thanks the guy, and they become best friends, and it's a cool kind of story. But yeah, there's no way of helping anyone through society and its institutions. Institutions all come from the church. Psychiatry, school.
Yep.
It's all just a part of society, and banks. And I don't even have a bank account. I really don't. I hate having bank accounts. I try to I would love to live off the grid, but I got a fiance who's still
Oh,
kind of
we're working on
not.
that. That's definitely a magical plan, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. So, and you know,
No,
but
those are great examples, man.
yeah,
People need to know that and hear that. And I was explaining we have, um, you know, you're there's always people hear things for a reason. And even our tribe here in Magical, we have a Facebook group and you could just go there and there's a bunch of good content. And our DMs are always open. Like, one of the things I've loved, we've been able to really attract genuine, authentic, loving people. So anyone, like if anyone's listening to this and they need someone to talk to, there's not a doubt in my mind you could shoot Mike Connor a direct message and he will talk to you and he will be there for you with no motive or intention, just literally to be there. And that's rare. That's rare. It's a beautiful thing. Anyone in our inner circle and most people in the group, or myself, Megan, anyone, like, please, anyone listening to this that's going through that tough time, just take the step to talk to someone, talk to one of us. Like, we're 100% see this as your sign. Like, you'll never get judgment. And Mike's a great person to talk to.
thank you.
But yeah, I just wanted to jump on and talk about that a little bit. And that's why the reprogramming and healing of the trauma is so important too. There's trauma, which kind of from what I've seen in ayahuasca ceremonies, different kinds of ceremonies, mushroom ceremonies, like whatever kind of all of them that are out there. When people purge, whether it's from crying, they're processing the trauma, or throw up, they get that out. But you still got to reprogram that mind, just like Mike was saying, the positive talk, the positive thinking, listening to meditations, writing your affirmations. You can heal your trauma, and that's fantastic. But there's another part to it. It's that reprogramming. It's that consistent thinking, and it helps so much. I'm not trying to put it on something external because we all have our own responsibility, but it helps so much having a good group of people, like just people to talk to that aren't going to judge you, that are going to understand, that are going to listen, that, because most of us, if not all of us, were raised and grew up in a society that was heavily judgmental. Judge our values found in our teachers, what our teachers think of us, what our grades are, what our parents think of us, like all of that. So it's completely switching. This great awakening that has happened, people are having to learn how to rewire 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of incorrect wiring. So my other piece of advice, be gentle with yourself, right? Like, we judge ourselves so hard.
Don't forget about his group.
Huh?
Don't forget to tell everyone about his law of one group.
Oh, yeah, you have that law of one group, right?
Oh yeah, the law of one. It's it's I am Ra tapes, which is I'm slipping my mind, Dave. When someone talks to someone through
Channeling.
All right, so it's a channeling. I've never been big into channeling because you don't know if they're telling the truth, but you don't know if the Bible's telling the truth. You don't know if anyone's telling the truth. But
Beautiful.
what is important is what resonates with you. If it resonates with you, then take it. And I learned about the law of one. I made a group on Facebook. It's not very active, but I keep putting information out there.
There's something I want to learn more about that, because every single time I read something from it, it blows my mind. Oh, that's what it was. Can you posted something, I think it was on Gage Gorman's post, about healing, and it was profound. It was a channeling about healing, and it was so deep. And now, being in the work, as Megan and I, mostly Megan's facilitating, I'm assisting her and helping, but facilitating these ceremonies with breath work and seeing people heal in them, like facilitating now, and then seeing that channeling, it's like, it's so consistent and accurate. What was that channeling? It was something like, it was a deeper level of saying, we are the vessels, be a clear vessel and allow the spirit to heal and learn how to heal him. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right. So, if someone wants to be healed and they ask someone else to heal them, that healer has to have a certain understanding of, I mean, they're not magic. What they do is they help them. I'm not exactly sure, but the healer doesn't do the healing as much as the person who needs to be healed learns that they can be healed by this healer. With the help of the healer, they could open up certain parts where they can heal themselves.
Yes. And we're the channels. We are the what's the word I'm looking for right now? I'm completely of course right now I'm forgetting the word. But we're just the vessels. Like the vessels, it comes through and you allow the healing to happen, right? Like it happens. You're just that vessel. That's why I found it so important to be a clean, clear vessel, to be the best conduit. There we go. Dr. Adriana Lara, thank you. Like, I'm missing like basic words right now. That's what happens on a live. You literally miss basic words. But yeah, conduit. What's that?
Like me, I'm talking, like we're forgetting words. So, God, did I even go off subject? I had a word in my head that, you know what? Why don't you keep going and let me think about it? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And healing, it seems to be a formula. And that's something, I mean, obviously she's my wife, but even trying to like step away from that, I am just so impressed with Megan. She's put together this formula because after that processing and healing that takes place in our ceremonies, where there's that processing, where most, at least ceremonies that I've been to, seem to not do, is this whole other thing that she's created, which is that heavy affirmation meditation thing she does, which is, we just spoke about it earlier. It's great to process the trauma. You got to, that's healing the soul. But that reprogramming, right? You have a conscious and a subconscious mind. That still's got to be reprogrammed. Like there's still like deeply conditioned negative neuropathways, fear-based neuropathways, because that's all we get shoved down our throats is fear from the media, fear from the church, fear from like society. So that has to be reprogrammed too. So there's definitely a beautiful formula to healing that we're trying to like continue to refine in these things. But yeah, that's basically what I was trying to say.
So the word that I was thinking of, okay. I'm going to give you an example. I give you an aspirin, and then I give you a pill that's nothing, and then you don't know which one to take. What's the word for that?
Placebo.
Placebo. All right. So I think it's the placebo effect. So like when a healer goes to heal a sick person, the sick person believes that the healer is doing something. Therefore, the person is actually healing themselves. It's a placebo effect. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what resonates with me.
Yes, and the placebo effect in itself is proof of the power of the mind. I'm a huge fan of Aubrey Marcus. He did a podcast with Joe Dispenza, and they talked about that, how like, not to bring up a code word that might flag this here, but he was talking about the vaccines and the placebo stuff. And he was saying how in his training groups, it's like 10 times more effective using the mind stuff that he does to raise the vibration. And like the power of belief is so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah, and that's what we forgot, through so many years is who we really are. And we've been taken over by, something that changed who we think we are. And, but now it's time to wake up,
Yeah, it is. And people are waking up, and that's what I love. Like more people are finally, I think more people have woken up than ever in humanity. But what's interesting about it, and it is what it is. Megan always cringes whenever I decide to make a truth post because every now and then I'll put it out there. But man, these people that are still heavily, what's the word? Programmed into the system. They feel like they need to rely on the system. The government's here to help them, all this stuff. Yeah. They've been programmed to attack anything that starts to speak truth. It's like something goes off in their head and they attack.
They're stuck in a 3D world. That's the way I look at it. I say, we've all ascended to a point where we see things the way that we see things for what they are. You watch the news and it's plastic, but back when we were children or younger, I don't know about you, but we believed that stuff. We believed Santa Claus, and people are still stuck in that 3D world. And I guess that's the big thing is like, where do you want to be? Do you like this society? Do you enjoy this? Or like, I've never felt a part of society my whole life. I felt something off with it. So
that's
yeah,
the key.
I don't.
You just literally hit such a huge point. That's such a freaking huge point. Here's the thing, like, we're powerful co-creators, right? Well, do you think there's nothing wrong with the medical system, with the school system, with the political system? Like, are you saying you want this to stay that? That's basically what it is. And those of us that have woken up, whether by divine means or whether it was because of plant medicine or trying to find our healing or whatever the reason is, once you've woken up to that, you realize kind of what direction you want it to go, and you start to co-create that.
Right. And yeah, once you go down that rabbit hole, you can't come back. You can't just turn back to the way you used to be, because you look at everyone different. I've lost a lot of family and friends because I just don't agree with their, you could see light in someone or you don't, and it's hard to find local people in my town who are of the light, and I guess that's the best term I can use. Hopefully more people are waking up, especially with the technology boom. I talked about on it earlier in the video. I don't know if anyone heard it, but talked about the technology boom and how we're living in it right now. And with the internet, and 500 years ago, it would take 50 years for information to go around the world.
Oh yeah.
Now it's snap of a finger. So we're all learning so quickly.
Megan said she remembers when we had dial-up. I do remember that too.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about monks who used to travel, thousands of miles to meet other monks to gain knowledge, and then they would share it, and then they'd travel more, and they'd come up to the library, and now it's just a quick thing.
That's the beautiful thing. Like, it always blew my mind whenever I usually just avoid discussions with people that come on that are trying to like say that, the government loves us and whatever. So I usually avoid that. But if I can ever feel the vibration, I'm like, all right, there's actually some genuine interest here, and I do discuss it with them. The thing that always gets me is we all know the mainstream media is complete BS. Like, we know, like, we understand that, but like, they want stuff from the mainstream media to prove the things that we're trying to tell them that's going on. It's like, you're not going to find that. And Dr. Adrienne Lara, I hope I said your name right, beautiful statements on here. It's a bigger horizon and reawakening, reopening, a bigger space for being and being able to co-create with everyone, like co-create together. This is why I'm so genuinely grateful about our inner circle and about Maegical, because there's so much happening. Like, we're all focusing collectively on what we want to build. Like, we're all focusing collectively on wanting to heal the world, heal ourselves and heal the world. Now we're talking about, what if there's a community? What if there was this beautiful like community in a beautiful area and there were healing retreat centers? Like, shit's happening, man. This is happening. And the more people we get and we're co-creating together, this is how things evolve and start,
Right. Yeah, manifestation, the more people you have manifesting the same ideas, the stronger it is.
Yeah, there's a Bible verse, one of the Bible verses that haven't been corrupted. There's a good one in there somewhere that talks about that. But yeah, so exciting. Great comments, Dr. Lara. Thank you for that. You're absolutely right. She said, when you are dependent on anything other than yourself or God, there's an opportunity for fear. And fear is that ultimate thing of control, man. That is the ultimate method of control. Keep people scared, keep people in fear, and they will obey.
Well, and if they're also focused and being afraid of a virus, they're more likely to attract the virus.
Yes, that's the thing too. That's a freaking great point too. When she said, when you're scared and afraid of the virus, you're actually
Absolutely.
attracting it. You're attracting it.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I walked in my mom's house the other day and she was wearing a mask. I'm like, Mom,
Oh, yeah.
and she's elderly, so like, what am I gonna say to her? I'm
know.
gonna sit down and try to, start,
One's wearing a mask. It's tough with family too, dude. It's tough because you love them and you want to like feel like, listen, but everyone's on their own path though. It's you gotta release it, which is much easier said than done. But I feel you on that. Well, dude, I love talking to you. My wife and I are about to head to grab some dinner with my mom. But thanks for coming on, Mike. This is awesome. We got to do this more often.
And I want to apologize. I can't see anybody's writing, so if anyone said hi to me, I can't see anything. So I'll learn that if we do this again. But yeah, thank you for inviting me, Dave.
Absolutely. No, thank you for being on here. And Megan said she's going to jump on with us next time.
All right. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all.
It's so funny. Every time I do these lives, we get a good amount of people. For some reason, when Megan's on, we get like double the amount of people. People are way more interested. She's like the one. So thanks for being on, brother. Love you so much. And thanks for being part of our freaking family. I love having you as part of it.
It's exciting. Love you guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.